Hello, everyone. Good day. Let me know in the chat real quick if you guys can hear me. I've been having some technical difficulties here with my audio, so I just want to make sure. Let me just switch between them two real quick and switch back. How's everyone doing? Happy Valentine's Day, says Mr. Park. What you guys doing for someone special? You guys celebrating? I am not sure if the audio is working, so please let me know if the audio is working. If you guys can hear me, please let me know. It's good to be on. It's the end of the week. Thank you guys for joining today. Just let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Sounds good. Okay, awesome. Because normally I'm hearing, I use the slight background music to just give me an indication that I am connected over here, but it's not doing that now. Nevertheless, I am on with you all. Welcome, Mr. Brandon, Miss Isabel, Kate. It is Friday and the week is almost done. Now, I know a lot of you are trying to force the week to have an extra day so that you can trade some more. But let's see what has been happening. How's the day been? How's the trades been? Let me know in the chat. Have you guys been trading today? How was the trading day? Let me know. I'm logging into the competition space right now, so I'm gonna check where everyone's at. Okay, I'm hearing the sound coming from a different spot here. There we go. Up with the mic volume a little bit. Very informal stream today, just taking it easy. I hear my laptop playing the music in the background. We're taking that off. Let's check what's happening. I'm sure you guys have been checking in any case already. Interesting. A complete turnaround at the top here. Let's have a look at what's going on. I should have participated in the NAS breakout. Euro USD, great double top on the daily. Supply, get, sell, trade. Well, we'll look at that. We'll look at that as well. Mr. Brandon, we'll look at that. It says audio has reverb. I'm hoping that reverb is good and not... and you're not meaning that there's too much background noise of such. I have no idea why it's going to. Let's try this. Are we back on the AirPods? You know what? It is what it is. Okay. I don't want to make this boring by talking about audio here. So let's quickly look at what's happening on the first page of the competition. Then I am going to speak about what you should be doing, planning into next week, how you should approach the market into next week. Also keep in mind, we're approaching the end of the day today. Please don't end up in positions where spread takes you out, right? Spread happens as the market tends to close. And if you're in the market at that particular point, it spreads open wide, you're going to be like, Coach, why did I get stopped out much greater than I intended to get stopped out? And it's going to be because you've allowed some spread to take over. So don't do that towards the end of the day. You should be out maximum. It's a Friday. So for the most part, you guys should be getting close to being out already. Let's see what's happening over here. We have some changes in things. Mr. Cash Flow DR back at the top in the top spot. Mr. IC Art, I believe that's Mr. Brandon. He's at 0.98. And MTNO, if you want to share who you are, you can let us know. 0.48, Mr. R. Gangan in fourth position. So we've had a complete turnaround of the top sections. Mr. Walter coming up in the ranks. Miss Isabel coming up in the ranks as well. Jill on the first page as well. So what's happening on the second page? Everything is turned around over here. Now, I'm going to say some of you, I'm a little bit disappointed. No trades taken this entire week, and you joined the actual competition. And remember, the rule states you have to take at least 3. So let's see. I know a lot of the people over here has taken 3, so that's okay. And we'll go to page 3. We won't go through all of them. Yeah, some setbacks and some setups. Nevertheless, it's still 5 days left. Right, 5 days left. Yeah, Tim is gone. He's off the top over there. But I believe, you go to his class tomorrow, and you'll find out why he's gone. Right. So, cash flow. Cash flow is raking in the cash over there. 2.51. Mr. IC Art, you're quite close. Now, if you've learned anything in this first particular week, you should learn this. That nothing will stay as it is, right? We've seen people up right at the top. We've seen them lose that top spot, go to the bottom. We've seen these changes happen. Now, if you're sitting somewhere on the second page or even on the first page and you're thinking, it's impossible to actually make it back up there, you'd be wrong. Because number one, you have to account for your trades. That's one thing. But you also don't know what someone else would be doing. Someone else might take the wrong trade, and because of that, you end up taking that position. So think of it like this. Someone goes down 2% while you come up 2%. That's like a 4% move in relation to that person. Right? So that's going to be interesting. And again, not everything on here that's displayed here will be prizes. So it would be in your interest to continue trading. Right? Slow and steady. If you are far behind, don't look at the days, right? Focus on getting up there. Now, Brandon says cash flow with those 10 lots. Hey, listen, if it's consistent 10 lots, then it's okay. Because remember, 10 lots might make you the money, but 10 lots might lose you that same amount of money as well. So if it's consistent and there's some movement there, now we've of course seen some deep drawdowns over here, but the rest has been like step steady up. So yeah, however you get there, if you are putting in a 10 lot at any given time, that can go drastically against you, but also can just put you in favor. So never look at what someone else is doing from that perspective alone. Slow and steady wins the race, right? By the way, this is good. This is good totals for 1 week. Whether you're new, whether you've been doing this for a while, it's good totals. Because remember, consistency is key. All you have to do at the end of the day is then just up your lot size and you get more money, right? Mr. Park says reverb gives you presence. Mr. Park, I give reverb presence, all right? That's what I do. Just kidding. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about how you should plan for the rest of the week. But I'm impressed with a lot of you actually putting in some time and trading. Let me know in the chat who was live with me yesterday. And honestly, I'm not committing to tomorrow yet, but I might just go live again tomorrow, might go live again on Sunday. So we'll see. And I believe I'm going to give you some value each particular day. So let me know real quick who was live with me yesterday. And shout out to all the 21 people that are on with me today. It's always good to have you on. Isabel says, Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. Awesome. Thank you, Isabel. Thank you. Let me stop screen sharing for a bit. Let me know in the chat if you were live with me yesterday. We had a good session. We went a little bit longer, but we had a good session overall. It was nice. It was lovely sharing my testimony with you guys yesterday. That was good. So if you missed yesterday's one, please go ahead and watch that again. I know it's over an hour, but go and watch at least I'd say the last 20 minutes, I think even as I shared that, I myself was encouraged by it as well, right? There's no way you deal with the things of God or even handle the Word of God and stuff like that and not get affected by it as well. Kate and David says the schedule in advance is helpful to us. Unfortunately, since this is the pop-ups, Kate and David, it literally is on an ad hoc basis. It's not part of... I'm literally just looking, when am I free? Sending Kaylin a message saying, put out something, I'll be free at that time. Now remember, you always get an hour in advance notice. and then you get a 15-minute in advance notice, and so on and so on. So this is just a pop-up stream, so I'm not going to commit to the time in advance. But normal classes, of course, we can always commit to that. Heather says we are at church. Absolutely, we are at church yesterday. There were 2 and 3 gathered, right? In his name, there is he. So we are at church. A quick look at the market, and then I'm going to talk about how to plan for the week ahead. We'll just quickly scan the market, what happened today in relation to what I told you guys yesterday. And here's what happened. If you have any questions as well, please put it in the chat. So yesterday when we were on Euro USD, I said, and look, it's almost exactly that, right? I said we are likely going to form a new gap and trade in it. Why? Because we cleared out highs, right? Cleared out highs. After clearing out the high, we trade in the gap. Where do we go next? Clear out some more highs. Where are we going now? To find a gap, right? And overall target is still over here. Now, of course, we have, I want you to pay attention over here. We have gone, right, and cleared a daily high. So the pullback that Brandon was speaking about is possibly happening, but it's really going to get determined by the next 2 hours before this day closes, right? When this daily candle closes and it closes down a bit, it likely is going to pull into this particular area over here. In next week, I'll need to push back up and go there again, right? So why is it doing that? We cleared that high. And then also, if we look at the divergence aspect of it, and we go to the DXY, we're going to see something interesting as well. Option I is we have now cleared this particular high over there, which is that one. We have cleared that high. So clearing that high over there also, take over this from yesterday, also means that we're likely going to pull back a bit before continuing higher. Now on the DXY, there's still this on top and there's that over there. Remember, we had that on yesterday. Yesterday on the stream, if you guys can remember, my saying was we're going to go on a 4-hour, right? We're going to pull back down and then go up, and we did exactly that. So nice one there. Euro USD. If you do remember, give me a 10 in the chat so I know you were here yesterday and you do remember us speaking about that. And then NAS 100, we had targets on that one as well. And we came pretty close to hitting the top one today. Option 1 was a deep drawdown, right, into this particular levels here. The other option was, remember I said if we run through this level over here, we could just tap back and continue higher. And we got that as well. It was all dependent on whether or not we were through that already. And since we were through that, which is this, there's a gap over here on a higher time frame. Since we ran through that, we tapped back. Thank you, Mr. Park. You were the only one with me yesterday. And then we moved up. So that's also a good call. I did see Coach Cindy also put out in the projections today. So shout out to her for a good call that we were going to trade back into this gap and then put higher pricing in, which we did exactly. Again, the simplest way to determine market direction is to look at the highs and then look at the imbalances after that. Right? Thank you, New to Tech. Awesome. Now, then we went to GB USD. Similar approach to Euro USD. I told you guys that the first thing we're going to target is this January high over here. Let me make it bigger so you can see it. That was drawn from here, and the next target was there. And guess what? Isn't that magic, everyone? How did I draw on that gray square yesterday on that call with you, right? And say that that will be where we target. Who remembers that gray square? Can you show the gap on the NAS to the left? I'll show you now as well. I'll go back there. But who remembers that gray square? And what is that? That gray square was pulled from here. And I'll be teaching that more again, as I say, in the cohort. We'll go over it again in the mastermind code. And that was my 2 to 2.5. If I was to draw it a bit more accurate over there, right? 2 to 2.5 level, and boom, we hit it. I used an additional time frame for confluence, and we got it. Bang, bang. Random gray square. New to text says, I remember. Absolutely. There's no randomness in this, right? We went up. This drop down here was to fool everyone thinking we're going down long term. We then traded into that gap over there. Same thing. What did we say yesterday? We clear high. Where do we go next? Into a gap. And then expand. Cleared multiple highs now. Where do we go next? Into a gap. There's a gap. There's a gap. One of them are going to hold. And we're going to go up again. Let me quickly go back to NAS. We don't do those new to tech. We won't be talking about that on a live stream on YouTube. But we'll definitely be doing a intro class to it so you guys can find out about it. But let me just give you a spoiler alert and say this. Not everybody is going to get into it, right? Not everyone's going to get into it, and here's why. We need to see that you guys are actually completing the stuff that you already have in your back end. And unfortunately, we're seeing that some people are skipping stuff, not going through what they are going through. So it's going to be by invitation as well. Brandon says, I trade Euro USD. You mentioned divergence. Was that with the DXY? Yes. The DXY and Euro USD are the closest correlated asset classes, even more than GPUSD, because the weightage of the DXY, which is the dollar index, has more euro weightage than anything else. So the DXY is directly inversely correlated to Euro USD. And if you trade it, right, because it's directly inversely correlated, you want to see it do the opposite thing. Or you can do what I do, Brandon, which is just invert the DXY, and then they're both facing the same direction. So then we want to see them do the same thing all the time. Otherwise, if they do something different, then it's inverted. I believe, Isabel, this one was on the weekly or the daily. Let me just see. Yeah, daily. There's your gap, Isabel. All right, that's a volume imbalance. I can draw it a bit better on there. A volume imbalance simply means, right, that there was no bodies there. You get the gap with the wicks where there's no wicks but no bodies there, means there's really been very thin amount of trading there, and so price then tends to react at those levels. If it breaks through it, it usually holds it from the other side, which is what we saw here, and to go through, right? So we kind of use it as real market support and resistance, right? Yeah, Mr. Brandon, I never ever trade the euro without trading the DXY as well. That's always been the case with me. And I'll look at Mr. Douglas. I'll look at ES soon as well, right? So keep the questions coming. Then, like magic, remember I said Bitcoin, right, is gonna move on what? On news, and we saw exactly that today. Look at that. There was the level I said the other day. Go into that line there. Boom. We hit that. And then I said we'd likely get some movement up. Now, we're not out of the woods yet. I'd like to see us climb quite a bit still on Bitcoin. But we got that movement up. And the reason we got that movement up was today they spoke about doing a lot of crypto ETFs, exchange traded funds. And that was good for the overall crypto market. And then we saw a response in the crypto market. That's why I said to everyone, I'm not trading this until we get some news backing. And when we got the news backing, we saw all this movement, right? And that's what happened today. XRP more so. Let me jump to XRP first. XRP saw that strong push out. Let me go to the 4 hour. Strong push out from this level over here. We didn't quite get to the bottom there, but the direction was correct. Boom. This area over here in XRP is the decisional point. We need to get above that particular area and hold it from the other side. If we do, my thinking is we're going to new all-time highs, right? But we need to get past that particular area. Even more so now that that area, due to time, even more so now that that area is a daily gap here as well. Now, if we don't and we turn around, mark my words on this, right? If for some reason we turn around here on a 4 hour right? Or 1 hour and we break strongly. On a 1 hour, if we break down twice, we're going to go below this level here, which I don't want to see. Otherwise, if we break down on a 4 hour with a gap, overlapping a gap, then we're also going to go down till there, which I also don't want to see, right? But that's just how the structure plays out. We get above this level, I'm confident we're likely going to see new all-time highs. So I'm watching this decisional point quite closely at the moment. MNQ, much the same as... Did I lose all the markups on here? Much the same as NAS. Right, likely going to target this over here, because all this is a higher time frame master pattern that's being targeted. Now remember, to Doug's question earlier, only one of them need to reach there. Either ES is going to reach there or MNQ is going to reach there, but one of them will reach there, and if one of them reaches there, then the other one does not need to reach there. So let me go and look at ES as well. Now this is a delay chart on ES because I'm not logged in to my account here, but it's only delayed by 10 minutes, so that's not going to matter much. If I'm looking at a higher time frame scenario, here's what I'm looking at. We left this gap over here. We then traded into this candle down. Let me go to a weekly. It'll be more clear. Okay. So I want you to see what's happening. We clear these lows, right? We move up. We clear that high. Okay. And so we're technically supposed to come down and clear this low again, right? I'm going to tell you what's happening here. We're supposed to come down and clear this low again at the bottom. And the reason we don't clear this low at the bottom is because when we go to our correlated asset class, which will be the NQ or NAS, we can look at NAS as well, but let's go to the NQ. Right. Let me clear this. Then for the most part, we are still holding this gap over here. We have not gone below this candle. We're still holding that one. We came back in, went up, came back down, went up. So the moment we turn in this price action, higher price action is afoot. So if I'm looking at MES, and I'm planning for, is it MES or ES is the same thing, just the different minis and micros. I'm looking at an all-time high there. That's the reasonable target. And what I want to see in here is that after we hit this last candle down here, is that from this area to that area, there's a master pattern. So that's weekly. We'd go and find it on the 4 hour. And that's exactly what we're seeing, right? We're seeing that. That master pattern over here. Boom. So we likely have higher price action over there. If you're looking for a more short-term view, right? If that's what you're looking for, then let's look at what price has done. Have we cleared this high? Not yet. So if we didn't clear that high, we need to ask ourselves, did we clear that high on the correlated asset class? And if we did, let's look at NQ, which we did over there. Wait, sorry, that's NAS. Let me just find the exact same thing. We did, I believe, cleared over here. That means we can get a bit of a pullback now. So where is that pullback going to is the question. If that's our 4 hour and we're getting our pullback, we came down, we go back in here. Let me just see. If we get a further pullback, we're literally likely going in here. And we're going to overlap inside of this candle. So what will likely happen is a deeper drawdown inside of here to go there. Right? Why? Because on the other correlated asset classes, we cleared the two highs, and now we're going to pull back into this gap, and that's not going to happen today. The reason it's not going to happen today is there's 2 hours left in this candle. That candle has to close. I would assume Sunday open, we go up first, then drop down, then go up. Right? That's the way it manipulates. That's the way the market manipulates. Okay. So that's all of that. Any questions so far? Let me stop screen share here. Any questions? I won't be too long. It's a Friday, so I won't go too long today. And I know if you were on yesterday, you're probably like, Coach, yesterday was so good. I hope we're going to go as deep as yesterday. No, but I'm leaving those deep things for you guys. Right? You bring me something deep. Okay, what's happening here? For some reason, I can't click. Okay, let me close some of these windows. Very informal call today, right? Very relaxed, very chilled. I know that most of the time I'm only going to get students on this one, so that's good. Epic analysis, yes. I'm gonna talk to you about what do you have to do next week as well. So stay tuned for this, right? And I'll cover this as well. How do you prepare on a Friday? What should you be doing on a Friday, right? First of all, for your notes, if you are taking notes, and let me know in the chat if you are taking notes, you should be doing your end of day and end of week markups, right? So I know it's Valentine's Day and you're supposed to spend it with someone. When you're done, get back to work, right? Get back to work. We're here to win. So I'm going to mark up from Saturday to, let's start on Monday to Saturday, Monday, apply. I'm going to bring up something. Always end of week markup. So here's the week, right? I had to make that money first, yes. Here's the week that's coming up. And I'm going to talk you through what you need to do here. For those of you dropping off, don't say I didn't tell you. I'll give you an opportunity to hear. So Monday, bank holiday, right? And what that means for our novice traders is this. It's a low probability day. Now, some people in the chat are going to tell you, Coach, you always say that, but on that particular days, the market does move. Now, I didn't say the market won't move. I said it will be a low probability day. Now, when we are new to trading, what we tend to do is we see every market move, every green candle, every red large candle as an opportunity that we have missed, right? Or we have made money from. But that's not the case. We are not trading every rise or every fall. What we are trading is high probability setups. So what happens on a bank holiday, because there's a lack of liquidity in the market, lack of funds in the market, what tends to happen on those days is the market does move because it's lopsided. Let me explain what I mean by that. Let's say there's no US dollars coming into the market, right? There might still be euros coming in. There might still be pounds coming in. And so whatever the pound and the euro is taking, whatever side they're taking of the market, there's still a lopsided effect. It goes one direction or the other. But because there's not equal bias for sellers that's happening, we get kind of like a wonky kind of effect that doesn't really respond to the levels as it should. So remember that if you are trading on Monday, let me give you a tip that I haven't really spoken about too much. But if you are taking notes on this, it's a USD bank holiday. So you would do what we call the exotics protocol, right? And what that means is if you still want to be active and you still want to trade and you still want to be in the currency market, you will not trade anything that is crossed with the United States dollar. So you can trade Euro GBP, you can trade AUD CAD, you can trade basically anything that is not heavily weighted in terms of the United States dollar. Now you might say, Coach, can I trade NAS? You can. However, the most important currency in the NASDAQ is going to be the US dollar. That's the one that moves it. And also the big companies in there is the NASDAQ is from the dollar region as well. So avoid those things. Look at the cross pairs. You're going to see they move better. If you want to test this, and I'm giving you free information here, and give me a 20 in the chat if you are valuing the information. And while you're at it, do me a favor, and you guys were awesome with this yesterday. Please go ahead and like the actual stream, right? Please go ahead and like the stream. Right now, just go and click like right there. Just hit it once, not twice. If you hit it twice, it likes and unlikes. Thank you. And so what you're going to do is, yes, you can mark up an exotic. You guys want me to give you free direction on one of the charts? I'll mark up one exotic. I'll find one. I'll go to one of my all-time favorite exotics. We'll see if it's got something, right? But what you want to do is You'll mark up an exotic pair and you'll use an exotic protocol, which is you trade the exotic pairs, the cross pairs, and you don't trade the ones that are tied to the bank holiday. Same goes for when you see a Eurozone bank holiday, GB CAD as well. Yes, anything that does not have the dollar in it. Okay. So let me quickly zoom in here so that I can see it better, because I wear specs as well. Okay. So here's what we're looking at, and listen carefully to what I'm telling you now. When you're committing risk to this or next week coming up, and I'm not just talking about the competition, but I'm talking about in general when you're trading, people are saying, you know what, there's red folders, which is high impact news, and then you're saying to yourself, you know what I got to do? I got to stay away from those red folders, and that would be wrong, right? You want to actually trade when there is high impact news. However, write this down. The ones you don't want to risk your funds on is CPI, FOMC, NFP. Those are the big three that you don't want to risk your funds on. Those are the big three that you should be trading after the news event, not prior to it, right? Because it becomes a little easier and less likely to blow your account. Now, on Tuesday, we have FOMC member Walter Speaks. Now, that's not FOMC, the actual FOMC event. That's just the member speaking. It's priced in already, so that's okay. We've got, now look at this, AUD. Remember, keep in mind the AUD pairs, right? Because it's telling you already that there's going to be some movement in the AUD on Tuesday, especially after that bank holiday. There might still be some liquidity in the next day on the AUD. So this RBA monetary policy statement, RBA rate statement, those are things that if you're trading across pair especially, right, you can trade them, because these are not one of the big three. So write this down again for your notes. The big three is FOMC, right, NFP, and CPI. For some reason, I can never remember what FOMC means, but NFP is non-farm payrolls and CPI is consumer price index. I know there's someone in the chat who can tell me what FOMC means. I'm not going to Google it now. So, planning your week ahead, I would say most of your risk should be committed to the dollar days where the dollar is moving. Where you don't have that situation because of the bank holiday there, this is going to be a very interesting week, because it would probably pay some of you guys to go trade anything that's crossed with the AUD and anything that's crossed with the GBP on Tuesday, and anything. I'd stay away from CAD. Why? Right? Why would I stay away from CAD? Because CAD is CPI. Right? CPI. Stay away from CAD. There you go. Federal Open Market Committee, right? The CAD's got CPI Consumer Price Index. I'll stay away from CAD on Tuesday, right? And I will trade in the cross pairs on the others. Anything that's crossed with CAD, I'll stay away from. The USD on Tuesday, again, Empire State Manufacturing Index, likely to act as a red folder on account of the day before being a bank holiday. So you should plan your actual trading with the news, right? To trade with the high impact news. You can see by the news days which days will be the most volatile overall. Okay, then Thursday we got more stuff on the AUD side. Unemployment claims, unemployment rate, employment change. So again, that's going to be, sorry, I've skipped to Wednesday here. Now Wednesday, here's the big boy, right? Wednesday, FOMC meeting minutes, right? That one's going to move the market as well, right? That one's going to move the market strongly. So be careful with that one as well. This one you can trade in the sessions before, but you don't want to trade when it comes really close. Now remember, this is my time. This is not your time. Please go on your chart, on your Forex Factory, and look at your time. It's 9 p.m. my time. So at that point, there'll be an injection of volatility, yes. But do I want to risk it there? No. So looks like it's a cross-week situation. Now, CPI year on year as well, year on GBP. So be aware of that on Wednesday and stay away from that. right? And then let's go on Friday. Let me see what we got here on Friday. AUD, we got some movement. GBP got some movement. Red folders for Euro Flash. All of this is fine. This is going to be good. The trade on the Euro will affect the dollar as well. Core retail sales, everything flash for the dollar as well. Friday is going to be likely, this week coming, Friday is going to be your best day. Which is rare, by the way. That Friday becomes the best day to trade. But it's likely going to be Friday. That's going to be the best day to trade over there, unless you're willing to go and look at the cross pairs, right? Now, is there any specific cross pair you guys want me to look at? Let me know in the chat which pair you'd like me to look at. And I'm going to bring that up real quick. And we'll talk a little bit more and then we'll call it a day, right? But thank you guys for showing up. Remember, you're going to see, I can't say everything today because I got to be, still have to do a weekly outlook on Sunday. If I do everything now, you guys are not going to watch the weekly outlook on Sunday. Right? The one I trade, says Brandon. Isabel says GB Cat. Okay, Isabel's asked for that twice, so I'm going to look at that one. And then I'll look at the one that I used to love to trade. And we'll see from there. Let me see. Do I have GBP Cat on here? There we go. Okay. Yes, I do. It's probably going to be some old markups on there. My favorite ones new to tech is basically the ones that have the news in that week. That's going to be my favorite cross pairs. I don't want you guys to be fearful of a cross pair. It's exactly the same as the others, but they work better when the dollar is not in power in that particular week. That's why we call it the exotic protocol. Let me share screen. Okay, so let's see what we got here. It's probably old markups on this chart as well. When was the last time I've been here? Wow, that's quite a while back. August 2024, I was marking up something. It's good to see we hit that and went up from there, so I was right on that one. Let's clear everything. Started our monthly. Where are we? Okay, on our monthly, what have we done? We have cleared a high. Boom. Okay. And then what have we gone and done after that? We have cleared a low. Right, keep it simple. So we went up, cleared a high, boom, cleared a low, then tried to go back up again to do what? What's happening there? Let's go to a weekly to see. Okay, so we just purely inside of consolidation. Why are we inside of a consolidation? Because somebody says don't see your chart. Oh, why is it not changing? Oh, sorry. Do I have to each share on each one of that? My bad. My bad. Okay, let's look at it there. Can you guys see it now? Let me know. Okay, so we clear that high over there. Right? Boom. We go down. We clear that low. So what's happening now at the moment is we are in a consolidation. You'll see it better on a weekly. We're in a sideways price action. Here's the rules for a consolidation. We take a high and we take a low. And how do we know we're in consolidation? Because we haven't taken that high or taken the low that created that. So we're inside of that, right? We're inside of that. So if I'm looking at a higher time frame scenario, the time frame I'm definitely not going on with. Right, shout out to Mr. Jason as well. The one that I'm definitely not going with is not going to be the weekly and it's not going to be the monthly, because all that is telling me at the moment is that they are in consolidation. So I'm going to go and clear those ones. And really on Sunday, I'll give you my most value, right? When I'm looking at the market. So I'm going to clear that one. But what do I have here on the weekly? We're currently inside of here. Right? That's a gap on the weekly that we're currently in. That's the last thing that the chart is doing. We've come down, gone up. We hit this particular area. So what can I look at inside of there? I'm going to look at the daily and see if we are external while being internal. And we do have that, which is here. Right? And we clear out that high. So clear that high, go into here. Inside of this daily, I'd be looking at my 1 hour to see what we're likely going to do. First things first, let me do my standard deviation trick. Okay, we've done the 2 to 2.5 already, got the pullback, held it, now going up again. This is a very extended range, so I can actually start looking at it on a higher time frame and not on that time frame. And here we go, this is what we got. For the most part, at the moment, I would be a bit more bullish on this, even though this is not the best price action. But here's why. We're going to go there, right? I'd like to see more impulsiveness. Mr. Great, glad there's a replay. Yes, we'll send out the replay, right? I'd like to see more impulsiveness on this one. We do have price trading into a gap over here. Right, we do have it clearing this high. So look at this. Clears a high, trades to a gap. Clears a high, trades to a gap. There's one there. You might not be able to see it, but there's one there. Clears a high, where's it now? Trading to a gap. But you have to know when they combine like this. So that's that. Let me see what we got on the daily. Just if there's a bit more clarity, nothing. Okay, so what am I thinking from the 4-hour perspective? Let me go up again. I just want to check the weekly one last time. If I'm deciding to put risk to this particular chart, I would be inclined more to be looking to target the highs. Even though, if I'm pretty honest with you, this is not impulsive. There's not a lot of gaps in this price action over here. So to me, this is truly it's truly doing what it's doing based on where it is on that weekly time frame, which is consolidating to the side. Maybe news in the pound or news in the Canadian dollar will trigger it, right? So we'll trigger it to start going. I'd say if you are looking at this as a cross pair, wait until price produces. Let me show you. And also I want to look at this high quickly before I say anything else. Let me just check at this high quickly. Is that a daily high? No, that's not. Yeah, so for me, currently still price action to the upside. But I would like to see a new gap form here strongly. So I'm going to draw it on and show you what I would like to see. Something like that. Price come up strongly like that. Tap back in. And then I think we'd go up to go and see higher price action overall on that one. That is GBP CAD. Now to one of my favorites, which was GP AUD. Be careful of this one, boys and girls. It consolidates, but when it leaves, it looks to you like it's the same chart, but it's not. It moves. Let's start off at the monthly on this one. Forgive me if I'm moving the chart too fast here. Where are we? Always give yourself like a bigger view, but then come back in close again to see what's happening. What messy price action as well. It's going to be clear on the weekly likely. Yeah, as I thought. But let's look at the monthly just before I go to the weekly. What are we actually seeing? Keep it simple, right? We've grabbed liquidity on top, but we broke there quite strongly. We're likely coming down to grab liquidity at the bottom, or we trade to a gap. Now, mastermind students, you'd know that there are two types of gaps that I look at. That's the one that's the actual gap, and then there's one, I'd say 3 gaps. There's one that's the actual gap, the volume imbalance, and then this one, which is the candle gap, right? More candle, more wick than body, candle gap. So we're looking at that. Then where are we now? We are inside of a weekly gap over this. I'll take over this one. Aside from a weekly gap, we've got this demand zone here at the bottom to the downside, right? And let's see what price action is doing here. So if that's a weekly, we go to our 4-hour to do some inspection. And again, I mean, I cannot say this over and over, even though I do not like this. Yeah, those equal lows. at least for now, the order flow on this particular chart is to the upside. When will I decide that this order flow is down? Is if we clear this one here. Let me draw this up. So very objective stuff, right? If we clear this particular gap over here, look what we did. We bounced in it. We rejected from it quite strongly. We can wick below this area, but we don't want to body close beyond it. So if we do body close beyond it, I'll tell you where price is going. And then if we don't body close beyond it, I'll tell you where it's going. So we body close here. We're going to tap back in and hit it there. And then we'll start targeting to the downside. That will be our target. We will go below here. And we will go below here. Right? If price reacts off of this level. Right? A correlated pair for GP USD is Euro USD. Right? If price reacts off of, that's to Kate and David. And by the way, simple tip, if you guys want to know what's correlated to anything that you're correlated to, you can either go to my FX book and look at the correlated page. So type into Google my FX book correlation, and there's a page with all the correlations and the percentages of it all. An easier way is to open up ChatGPT, type in what you are looking at, and then ask ChatGPT what is most correlated to that. Right? So we're almost done. We're almost done, guys. It's almost an hour. We'll be done soon. So this one over here, if price comes, it can wick below, that's fine. If we go back up and we close the body over here, leaving possibly a gap here, then we're likely going not just here, right? Because I know you think it's likely just here, but we'd likely go all the way till here. And masterminds, you know I'm selecting that and not that. So all the way till there, right? If we close above that. Why? Because order flow shifts back over here, and since there's no gaps in this leg on the way down, if we get any form of gap here, price will hold that gap and project its way up, all the way up to the top. Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat. Give me a 10 in the chat if that makes sense to you. Right? It should. Okay. Let me see where we are at. Okay. Boom. To the top. That's what we think that will happen over there. So that's GPAUD. And that's, of course, if you're trading that time frames, right? It can be a different thing on a different time frame set. If you're looking at it that way. We also have a reason, a good enough reason. Let me check this. If you are trading, if you want to trade a little bit higher, let me show you the alternative as well. If we start off by the monthly and we go to the daily, right? Then we have some more downside. Now I think we're going to get a bounce up here. But mark my, just be very closely attentive to the fact that if we close below that level I showed you earlier on, we're going to target these two. But if we target those two, we're likely going here as well. Why? Because this monthly is a valid level. Price is traded and broken beyond that. And then look what we've done. Clear that gap, broken. Grab liquidity, come back down. Right? We left some gaps here. This here is a decisional point. If we hold above, we're going up. If we break below that point, we're likely going here next and even there next. So it's going to give you, and here's why I do things this way. When you're looking at that 5 minute and that 10 and that 1 minute and stuff like that, you have directional bias for a session. But when you're looking at higher time frames, like I'm looking at here, you have directional bias for the week, for the month, and that's what you want, because then you can come every single day and just trade in one direction. Right? Not the band, not the group, one direction. I know a lot of us are too old for that on here, but you can trade in one direction. So I am liking, from a higher time frame perspective, I am liking the downside more now, because we have this monthly high that we cleared over here. We then, let's check the weekly as well to see what's happening. Even on the weekly, look at this. Look at this. I'll show you now. Let me take this off. Even on the weekly, this is a decisional point. Because why? Here is no gaps in here. This is the gap over here. So either we hold this and go up, or we come down. And literally, I'm telling you now, mark my words on this one. This area here is that decisional point right now. That area there is going to decide whether or not price goes up or goes down. And we want to see if it, and listen carefully, it's not just if it breaks, right? If it breaks below and reacts. What do you mean? Exactly what I drew here. Goes down, goes up, and rejects from it. Then it's game on. You're going to see a bunch of trades going down in that direction, right? Yeah, man. You know what? Yeah, this is definitely the decisional point. We break back up, we hold above here. It means we're done with going that direction. We're going to target the high again. Keep it simple. Have a specific area on the chart and decide your entire trades based on that particular area. It's clear that that's a decisional point to me. Anything else? Any other questions? Any other things you guys want to do or say before we jump off? All right. Okay, let me know. Any other questions? Of course, again, inside the academy on Sunday, I'll do the actual look at every specific chart and decide where it's going to go, right? Thank you, Brandon. But again, I want you guys to get used to having those decisional points on. It's simple. If you understand the master pattern a bit better, I know some of you don't know that yet, it really gives you areas in the chart that you can decide this is going to be the area from which it decides to move or not. And this literally mark, we can have this on, circle it around. I'm telling you, this is going to decide the price action for this chart, where it's going to go next from here, right? After consolidation, does it always drop? No, right? Now, after, a good question. Price does this. Man, I'm based on that question, I'm about to give too much away, right? But I like sharing. So let me, where is my zigzag tool now? If price does a consolidation in the market, right, which is like that, price tends to want to target both sides of it. So if it goes down first, it's almost always going to come back up and take the other side, right? Why? Because remember what I taught in the class. A consolidation, right, has orders in the form of stop losses on top and stop losses at the bottom. If for some reason price does not come and take that side, all that means is likely over here there is a much higher time frame stop loss situation. Sorry, consolidation situation. It takes out that one. After taking out that one, it then decides to start going up and target this one. Now, that's a lot of information, but here's a simple thing that you can understand. When price takes a high or low, right? For those of you who are taking notes on this. When price takes a high or a low, so a higher time from high or low. Let's say price does this, and don't take my word for it, go and check for yourself, right? Let's say this is let's call this a monthly. Right? A monthly high, 3 candle high. If a daily comes up here and then consolidates here at the top and then drops down, right? It's about to blow your mind on this one. So remember, I'm doing this with a monthly and a daily. You can fractalize this down to your time frames. 90% of the time, this will not be the turning point of the market because price does not turn on consolidations. So for someone, that should be a huge thing. So price never reverses on a consolidation. Price will go up one more time, clear out that particular area, and then drop. Now you might say, Coach, how can I actually utilize this? Well, simply put, step your criteria. We took out a high, consolidates. Okay, where do we go to next? We don't know. Goes into a gap. Now, here you have to decide, are we going to go further down? I'm going to tell you, categorically speaking, if here is a consolidation, 90 to probably more than 90% of the time, it will not go down all the way. It will come back up first to take out that eye and then go down, right? How can I be that convinced of it? That's years of circling things. It will go up and come back down again. Now, when will price reverse from a higher time frame high? It will do it when it does this. To new to text question. This stuff is very, very fractal. So let's say we got that. Price moves up and then all of a sudden does a consolidation before that high. Drops down. Sharp move up into that high. Gives you your stop on break over here. What do we not have over here? We have this consolidation. That means we break over here, we're going to target that consolidation. And then we're going to hold and break and go further down. Right? Hopefully you're taking notes on that. Consolidation new to tech is target points. Price doesn't always drop from consolidations. Price will always follow the higher time frame narrative over the consolidation. Right? Do I consider things like wedges, flags, pennants, some of these look like that? Absolutely not. I don't consider any of that. The reason being is I don't trade, even though you're seeing me put on patterns here, I don't trade patterns. I trade order flow, right? Yeah, smash the like button, please. I trade order flow, right? And the reason I trade order flow is I understand that, let me tell you what's different about this. And why bull flags and wedges and bear flags doesn't really work all the areas. Not to say you can't make them work. They can work, right? In the right hands, any tool can work, right? But here's what's actually happening. Stop losses are being taken here, right? So orders are being picked up here to pair with orders that are above here. Why? Because there is a bunch of, if that is a sell down, there's a bunch of buys here, right? And if this was a buy up, there's a bunch of sells here. This sells get paired with that buys. That is real market order flow, right? So in other words, here because you sold down, there's buys. Let me say it one more time. Man, I'm teaching on YouTube today. Hopefully someone's gonna pick up this and see that we give value. So there's buys here. If you understand this dynamic, you'll be pretty surprised how the market responds to this. Sells here. So think of the buys and sells not as an actual buy or an actual sell, but think of it as an order in the market, right? Because you sold here, there's a bunch of buy orders here. Because it consolidated here and drops down, there's a bunch of sell orders here. These sell orders are paired with that buy orders, right? Now, you might have a situation where you have a bull flag or a bear flag that looks similar to this, but then what you end up having is perhaps a gap over here. And then it looks like there's some kind of a bull flag happening, but then that gap gets a bounce traded through instead of doing a bull flag or bear flag. And the reason it does that is because whatever orders was picked up here was paired with those orders there. And since that has been paired already, we need to seek orders lower. It's a lot. I know it's a lot. I know some of you are thinking, what? But for those of you who are writing some stuff down the line, that will make a lot of sense. Can you please show us this on XAUUSD chart from today? I want to see how I guessed wrong. So let me see what happened. XAUUSD. What is the 4-hour chart? Oh, so you want to know why did price drop down like this? Is that what you want to know? No problem, Kate and David. It's our sell stop losses, yes, and buy stop losses, absolutely. Right? So, do you want to know new to tech, why did it drop down? And again, before you go and leave, please go ahead and smash that like button. Once, please, not twice, because then it unlikes. So I'm going to venture a guess over here. And I'm going to venture the guess that we got some real market divergence over here. Right? And that's what's coming down. So let's look at what is actually happening. Let's take it from the top. Price is number one at an all-time high. Okay. So price has gone up. This is not a gap yet, by the way. I just want to tell everyone on the monthly chart, this is not a gap because there's 14 days left to the month. And until that happens, right, this is not a gap. So we don't consider that as a gap. What we can consider is price has gone through that high. And what is price done after going through that high? It's just going up, going up, going up. I can see no structure here on the weekly. Also, this over here is not a gap until this weekly candle closes, and there's still 1 hour and 24 minutes left on that. Now, we can kind of like judge that one to be a gap because it's almost, it's almost a 1 hour only left on that one. But yeah, there's nothing there. Okay. So I'm going to go to a daily. Okay, so now on the daily, it gets a little bit more interesting. Okay, so what do we have on the daily? We basically have that high and this low. And price was supposed to, from our understanding at least, go and take that high, right? That's what's supposed to happen. It's supposed to go and take that high, but it didn't. It came back and dropped down strongly with some impulse. Now, I would say there's probably some news. Gold doesn't just go that way like that unless there's some news affecting the gold, right? Now, cryptocurrency is up, so gold likely could possibly pull down. But I am going to venture a guess, and I might be totally wrong on this, but I'm going to venture a guess and say that if this one is slanted like this, then its correlated asset class, which is silver, has likely taken that high. Now, I haven't traded silver in a long time, so let me check. Silver ticker symbol. If anyone on here remembers what silver's ticker symbol is, it's XAG. Okay, so let's go ahead and add XAG. Silver, we'll just go with the NASDAQ one over here. And I'm going to split screen. And we're going to add XAG. Oops, I added on the wrong one. Let's put that back. Click over here. Add XAG. Why does this XAG look so funny? Okay, that's probably not the one I should be adding. Anybody trade silver? XAG. Oh, XAG USD. What am I doing? What am I doing? Let me take that off. That's just the silver chart on its own. XAG USD. That's better, right? That probably makes a lot more sense. Okay. Silver daily. Gold daily. Let's turn silver in the correct way. What's happening here? Option I. There we go. There's your answer. Right? Daily chart. Gold didn't take it. Silver took it. Right? Silver took it. So when silver takes it, gold didn't take it. Remember, what do? We take a high and we go to a gap or a low if there's no gap. So we have a low here. We have a high being taken there and we have a low there. There's no gap inside of here. Silver takes it. Gold doesn't take it. We only need one of them to take it. And then inside of this high, we can go ahead and look at a 1 hour. If a 1 hour gap fails at the top, then that gives us a signal that we're going to come down. And here is the magic area. Isn't that amazing? I ventured a guess. And boom. There's your guess. The gap fails. That gap should hold. Remember, what's supposed to happen? External, high, trade to a gap next. If the gap fails, and it fails all the way over here, what does price do? Trade back up again. Students of mine, you know what this is. Let me just draw this on. Type it in the chat for me. What do you see? Why is this green candle going up here and not into something here higher? Type it in the chat for me. What do you see? I'm teaching a little bit today, right? We're almost done. And there you go. One took it, one didn't, and I put silver on after the fact. All right, so you can tell that I really didn't know. I didn't even know what silver is. I haven't traded silver in such a long time. But that's how we know what the market's going to do, right? Which direction it's going to go, especially when it's on its way to something. Somebody says mitigation. No, Jill, you're correct. SBR, right? That little line there, plus that little line there, plus this little line there tells us why we go here and then drop. That would have been a nice trade, by the way. Into the SBR, drop. Right? Gonna target those lows over here. And by the way, what do you see? What is that? Right? Another one of that. SPR, yes. If you said SPR, that is correct. Right? Yeah, I know, Isabel. That was a very small one there. That little second line that I drew. That is correct. But yes, again, everyone, your objective should be you should get very good at higher time frame. Higher time frame is getting easier and easier. You guys can see from our weekly outlooks, the win rate on the directional bias on higher time frame is pretty good, right? We use simple things to get that higher time frame accurate. It's just understanding the time frame dynamics, but that was why gold went down. Master pattern, absolutely. And this was an epic one, though. Very, very good one on gold. Very, very good one on gold. Now, gold went a little higher than I thought the other day. Of course, silver was much higher there. Gold went a little higher than I thought, but I did call it the other day saying we're going to go down. I didn't think it was going to go this strong down, though. I actually thought we were going to go down from here first, then again there, but we wanted to go higher until silver took the high out and then expanded down. And what you'll normally notice, once this happens, all of a sudden there'll be some crazy news that says it was all priced in, and that's why it actually happened, right? Okay. Stop sharing. So, and I'm only doing this for the duration of the actual competition to keep you guys engaged. But when the competition is done, we're going to take all this information back into the academy as a whole, right? Great pop-up. Thank you for your time, Coach. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you, guys. Before I go, let me say this, and I'll literally be less than 5 minutes here. I need to take me too with correlated pair. Great stuff here. Yes, Brandon, absolutely. Correlation is a very, 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 very powerful technique to tell yourself where, and really it's divergence, but the correct type of understanding. You're not a MACD on your chart. The MACD is going to tell you late. By the time MACD tells you, you could have seen it for yourself. So learn these kind of things, because there's all the answers are in the candles. Okay, but before we go, let me say this. I said it to someone earlier today, and I thought I'll just say it again to you guys. I'm not going to share another testimony. Don't worry. That will be for class at another stage. I know some of you still have to go and spoil your Valentine, so I want to give you that time to do that. But let me just say this to you today. You're now, and people who know me long enough, they know that this is a statement I love to say. Your now is not your forever, right? Your now is not your forever. And I was thinking about this because I was saying to someone today, you're walking around depressed, you're walking around down, you're walking around feeling like the world's on your shoulders, and that happens from time to time. And I had a scripture up earlier on. The Bible says in the book of Ecclesiastes that for everything under the sun there is a time. There's a season for everything. There's a time to and we can make it more modern as well. There's a time to laugh, there's a time to cry, there's a time to die, there's a time to be born. There's a time for everything under the sun. And the thing about problems is that it wants to take over everything else in your life. But I want to encourage you and say, since your now is not your forever, don't live in the now like it is forever, right? Remind yourself that what you're going through today is no bearing or indication of what your future will look like. So it's a struggle. And I spoke to I had a one-on-one session with a student. It's also learning to trade. And I said, let me tell you something about why you need to have a positive attitude. Your negative attitude during the time of your training to learn the trade, and you have to really be aware of this. It can happen every day. That thing in itself becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, because you start to feel like, you know what, I'm never going to get this. And guess what? You're never, ever going to get this. Right? You're never going to get this. Yes, so we do actually have Valentine's Day. You guys are all my Valentines. No, I'm joking. My wife's in bed already. Right? I show my love more than just one day. So she's not going to hold it against me. We had some good supper and stuff earlier. But your now is not your forever. Right? This has always been one of my statements that I told myself, regardless of what I'm going through at the moment. Let me remind myself that what I'm seeing today is not my everyday. It's not going to be my everyday. And sooner or later, the seasons change. And all of you on this call have probably had a cold or the flu before. And you know, when you get it in the beginning, Brandon, it's like it's hard, it's tough. You're coughing every day. You wake up the next day, your throat is sore. It's worse, it's worse, it's worse. But how many of you can remember the exact day the cold went away? No one. Right? You don't know when it went away. Right? You don't know what moment. You just felt better one day. And so is life. Seasons change, but they change very drastically and quickly. And what we don't want to do is be in winter thinking we will always be in winter. That's what the Bible says. Consider the ant. You know, they gather in the summertime for the winter time. Let me tell you something on that, you know, and I'll leave you there. When you live life God's way, you are in a season, but you are living for the season that's coming. Let me explain. You're living as if you are out of season. What that simply means is, in summer, you know that a winter period will come again. And so you plan ahead for that. In winter, you know that a summer period will come again. So you know that this won't always be your period that you're in. Just as the seasons of life change, your now is not your forever. And the best gift you can give yourself today is to not think you'll always be where you are at. Now, here's what your mind's going to do. You're going to look at your circumstances. You're going to look at things, and you're going to try and make you're going to do some maths in your head. You're going to say, man, if I need 10,000, how am I going to get to 10,000, and where am I going to get to 10,000 from? Right? And what about this, and what about that, and this? But that's not how God works. You know, God works with the seed principle. You give God one, and you end up with thousands. So if you're truly trusting and believing in Him for greater things, then understand that your circumstance is not a surprise, and therefore at the same time, right? At the same time, you should not be thinking that what you're going through now, it's always going to be this way. It's going to change. And so the worst thing you can possibly do for yourself is to live in the moment like it's always going to be that way. And final thing is this, and then we'll leave you on this. The way the enemy gets most of us is not in the severity of the circumstance, right? A lot of us can overcome something that's really bad if we knew it was going to change tomorrow. So his MO, his modus operandi, is not the severity of a thing, but it's the duration of a thing. So when you pray that the Lord shortens the difficulty. Some of us want the weight of the difficulty to be taken away, but a lot of us can endure that. We just don't want to always be where we are at, right? So pray the God of the seasons change your season. But thank you, everybody. You guys be blessed on purpose. I shall hopefully see you tomorrow. If I'm going to see you tomorrow, you will get an email that will come out to you at least at a minimum an hour before the time, stating that I'll go live. And then hopefully you guys can jump on with me as well. Live out of season today. If you're in a good season at the moment, store for the season that are coming. If you're in a bad season at the moment, endure, because a good one is coming. You guys be blessed on purpose. Love you all. Spend some time with the family and spend some time with the friends. Have a good weekend. See you tomorrow. If not, I will see you on Sunday in the weekly outlook. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye. Let's say goodbye.